Hi, we're Lauren and Scott and we're Fam in a Van, and today we're making a video and talking to you about everything you need to think about when choosing your rig.
Yeah, so we will probably talk mainly on our perspective and why we've chosen our rig.
Yep.
And hopefully while we talk about that, it's going to probably answer a few questions for you guys who are at what level, I don't know, in getting ready to do this yourselves. So
Yeah.
there is a lot to consider. And when I first went from a couple of years ago starting to think about this, and when it was what we were looking at it initially and how it all opened up for me later on, where it come down to your weights and your safe loads and what capability some vehicles have and don't, and your safe limits and all those sorts of things. There's really is a lot to consider. So
what's the number one question you would have asked yourself when you first started looking into caravans in particular?
Well, I think when I started looking at caravans, I think the biggest thing was, and what did dramatically change, was the usage of the van, what our usage was. So initially it was going to be probably 6 months of the year, and I think it was more looking down the lines of a slide-on camper or maybe a pop top or something like that, something that wasn't a permanent living solution by any means. So
you need to ask yourself, how long are you going to spend in the van? What sort of touring are you going to do? Are you going to be going off-road? Are you going to be sticking to the blacktop? Are you going to be living in the van for, 1, 2, 3, 5 years? Or are you just going to be spending the summer holidays in your van? So there's lots of different avenues you can go down. We're obviously living in ours, and that was a huge deciding factor in the caravan that we ended up with.
Yeah, so initially we looked at, we were going to go full off-road van. It was going to be big and heavy, 22 foot, around that mark, because we wanted bunks, we wanted north-south facing beds. I wanted a full club lounge, separate shower toilet.
We wanted a vansion.
We wanted a vansion, we did.
It could go off-road.
And we wanted to do Gibb River, we wanted to do Cape York, we wanted to do everywhere. And as time went on,
it wasn't realistic for us.
And the expense also was a big one.
Yeah.
It changed our mind in what we thought our usage would be. So now we've sort of scaled that back and we thought, well, what we've bought is a caravan that has a roller rocker style suspension, so it's capable of probably dirt road, very moderate terrain, but mostly blacktop, which we're going to stick to. And touring full time though, we're going to be in this van, living in this van for 2, 3, 4, we don't know how long. So
forever.
It is our long-term living solution at the moment. So we wanted something that wasn't pop top, that was very weatherproof, safe, secure,
and
warm,
comfortable. You also have to think about what your requirements inside the van are. So you've got to think. For instance, we got a van that has a full-size sink with a draining board. It's got an oven, it's got a grill, it's got a 4-burner stove top. There's heaps of cupboard space, and there's enough lights in here to have a disco. And you need to think about all of that stuff, because if you're just choosing your van because you'll be using it to go water skiing over the summer with, you don't need a full-size sink. You probably don't need an oven. You don't need all of those things that eventually end up costing you more money down the line.
No, pop top would probably be fine. You can save weight. You have a lot more lightweight solution.
Yeah.
So our girls, we've got 2 children now and a third on the way. I wanted those 3 girls to have their own beds, not a temporary where you fold the couch down for the night, they sleep on it, then you have to pack it away the next day. So
sleeping arrangements are important, especially for families.
Yeah, definitely.
We wanted a queen size bed too, and we wanted what's ours?
North-south,
because we will be living in ours. We don't want to be climbing over the top of each other to be going to the bathroom. I'm 6 months pregnant. I go to the bathroom 5 times a night, at least, and it's only going to get worse. So we needed the beds and the sleeping arrangements to suit our needs. But you might just be a couple, and an east-west facing bed might be fine for you. So something to keep
east-west is a shorter unit, then it's a more lightweight. So definitely the frequency of your usage in general, off-road, on-road, where you want to take this thing. And and then it sort of flows on from there.
That's right. Also, another thing you need to think about is what kind of vehicle you'll be towing your van with. We originally had a Ford Ranger, and that would have probably done the job. But we always wanted a Land Cruiser, and this was, we got the Land Cruiser before we got the van. So once we got the Land Cruiser, it made it more possible and more comfortable as well, and safer on the road to tow the van that we ended up getting.
Yeah, well, our van fully laden, like with everything, water, and all suppliers can weigh 3.2 tonne.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to consider with your weights and your safe limits and all that sort of stuff when it comes to your gross vehicle mass and your trailer masses and your combination masses. And I will do a video about that in depth later on. I'll show you. I'll get all the weights and measurements from all our vehicles and the van, and we'll take it to the weighbridge and we'll do it right.
It's really important because you see caravans. I mean, here in Gundy at the moment, there's that many caravans getting around because it's sort of that transition time between warm and cooler months with cars, and their bum is down like that, and it's just so not safe.
No,
so
it's
unsafe. So you got to think about safety. We've got our kids in the car as well. So
yeah, that's right. And also just how much you're loading up. Like you buy the car and the van, like the two go hand in hand. They're very much, you need to be thinking about. If you already have the car, then you're stuck with that. So you've got to buy the van that suits. But if you're in a position where you want to buy a car and a van, then the two go hand in hand. They support one another, so they have to be very well matched and suited and capable together.
When it comes to choosing things like manufacturers and things like that as well, that's a big decider, because there are so many caravan manufacturers out there, because everybody wants to do this at the moment. All you have to do is go to a caravan and camping show and you can see for yourself how many caravan manufacturers are out there at the moment, and some of them are pretty dodgy. Yeah,
look, we've chosen Crusader caravans.
Yeah.
And when I started looking at caravans, my God, there's just so many manufacturers out there, so many manufacturers in Victoria. And originally, like I said, we started thinking of a full off-road caravan, so we were thinking Kedron, Bush Tracker, and talking to them, talking to one of the people at Bush Tracker, just didn't say a very good word
nothing good to say about anyone
in the industry, especially those in Victoria, he said, the way he spoke it. And you look on the forums and you study about it and you look at all you just type into whatever, Jayco problems or Jayco bad stories and that, and the forums, it's endless. And
everyone has something bad to say about their caravan because something's going to go wrong. And it's not necessarily going to go wrong. It's going to go wrong because they're not driving to the conditions, especially if they're going off-road. Or then they're going back to the manufacturer about something that's wrong with the stove when they should be going to the stove manufacturer or the fridge manufacturer and all that sort of thing. So the dealer is a big part of that as well. And the dealer we chose, we had dealt with before. So we knew they were really good and we knew that we would get really good service off them. And that's another big deciding factor, is the dealer and the type of service. The horror stories that we have heard.
That's probably the biggest part, is the dealer, your dealer network. So I think a lot of the major caravan manufacturers you'll be fine with. Your Jaycos, Crusaders, New Ages, you see them all. You watch What's Up Down Under and they've got 30 different caravan manufacturers they're flogging. They're all fairly good, fairly reputable. But I think the most important thing is your dealer and your dealership network. And we had Hinterland Caravans on Burleigh on the Gold Coast, and they're also a part of a larger company that sells. We bought our Toyota through Hinterland Toyota. I bought boats before through Broadwater Boating Centre, which is all the same company. And so we knew generally that Hinterland were good people to deal with. So, and I looked them up, and what you do, Hinterland Caravan bad stories, the same thing, Google search it, and not a great deal came through. And another factor with choosing Crusader caravans for us was my auntie and uncle owned one, and they said that their experiences throughout the whole time with their caravan was very positive as well. So those are little things that you just have to draw on people around you's information, asking questions, watching forums, all that sort of stuff helps. But at the end of the day, you just eventually have to make a decision, and we made the decision, we've chosen this, and we've been very happy, we like so far, they're highly complicated things, really. Like everything in a caravan is designed to travel down a highway at 100 k's an hour. All the appliances run on gas, 12 volt, 240 volt. Everything, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and we've already had a few little problems ourselves, and they're just teething problems, start-up things with a new. You
can't expect it to be perfect as well. It is, like Scott said, you've got to travel with it. You're going to hit potholes, and things are going to get jostled.
Exactly, like our washing machine jumped forward and was out of all out of whack because of just driving out
and
here.
the spin cycle wouldn't work, and that was only after a 500-kilometre drive. So,
so
things are going to go wrong. You have to make a decision. Go and talk to people who have caravans and see what their experiences have been, and do your research. You know, this is just a few things you need to keep in mind. We're not telling you to go and buy a Crusader. We're not sponsored by them in any way, shape or form.
No.
And we just went with them because it felt right. The people we were dealing with were wonderful people, and you know, I like the interior of them, but I'll do a whole other video on the interior of my van.
Interior, layout, features, you know, all those
utensils and things inside. You know, you've got lots of things to think about. So make a list, talk to people who know what they're doing, who've been caravanning for a while, and check the forums. But the forums are
they lead you astray, I think,
they
a lot
do.
of the time.
Yeah,
so.
There's a lot of misleading information on them and disgruntled people. It's a bit like TripAdvisor when you go and read a restaurant review. No one's got much very good to say about anything.
You always hear the bad things. You
always hear the bad things. You never hear the good things. So that's what we considered when we were buying our van. We hope that it's given you some food for thought. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page, Fam in a Van. You can find us on Instagram as well, and subscribe to us right here on YouTube.
No worries, we'll
catch you next time.
Catch you next time with some more valuable information, hopefully.
Yeah. See ya.
Catch you later.